Yeah, so for example, let me download an image here from, I could go to Pixabay, because usually that's where we get free images from. Yeah, you get some images here. For example, let's say like this picture of this white, this Indian, white Japanese. Yeah, and then let me download it in a high resolution. You can see like there's this 4,000 pixels here. Download. It has downloaded.
Yeah, it's done.
Yeah. Let me check it out here. So I have the image here. So you can either choose to drag and drop the image, or you can as well go to File, then you place. Yeah. So as we wait for others, let me be showing you how to remove the background of the image. There are so many ways you can do it. So the first thing that you do is, to be on the safe side, it's better to duplicate this background layer, the main layer. So you either press Ctrl J if you have a Windows, or Command J on your Mac. Or alternatively, you can click and drag to this button here, and then you release. This button here means you create like a new layer. So on this background copy, this one is what we are going to do all the changes that we want to make on. Yeah, so what you do, you create a clipping mask so that in case you want to always bring back any misplaced items, or if you accidentally erased something, you can bring it back. So you create a clipping mask. So it will go on this same layer here, not on this one, but on this one. Yeah, so you have to make sure that your colors, you have a black, a white foreground and a black background color, so that you'll be able to remove the colors and you bring them back whenever you feel you want. Yeah, so one of the ways of removing the backgrounds is either you can use the pen tool. You try to cut around. You cut around like this, or alternatively, you can use a quick selection tool, but it's not so accurate. That's the disadvantage of a quick selection tool. As you can see, it is coming into the picture here. You see it? It's coming into the picture. That's the disadvantage of a quick selection tool. So let me deselect using Ctrl D. There's another one called Magic Wand. It will select everything around the picture, but of course it is also not accurate. You cut off some parts which you want to maintain. You can see the hair here, it is not cutting it well. See here, down here on the trouser, same here, you can see it's not accurate. That's the disadvantage of those two tools. Yeah. Then there's another tool called a lasso tool. You can as well use it, but it's also not accurate because, let's say, when you're using a mouse, it's also not accurate. So you can also use a magnetic lasso tool. It's kind of accurate. But of course it also takes time. Yeah. So those are some of the different tools that you can use to select images. But the best and the most recommended one is the pen tool. It's here. So pen tool is the best. At least there it is more flexible. You can move around the corners like that. Now for the sake of like these hairs, usually you just try to approximate here because you can't see the small details of that hair. Are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're around.
Yeah, welcome, you're welcome. Yeah, so as we wait for the rest, I was teaching someone here how to remove backgrounds. And I was just showing them some of the different tools which they can use to remove those backgrounds. I'm not going to be so accurate, but just going to do it just to save time and to show an example how it's done. So that's the good thing of a pen tool, that is very, very flexible. You can twist it in any angle that you want. Like you can see here, you can twist it in any angle. I'm just trying to do rough work, but we prepare for the rest of the guys to come online. And don't forget that we are still on this duplicate layer. Okay, so I've finished selecting around the whole image. We're on this duplicate layer. So what you do, you right click, then you make a selection. Yeah, and usually, personally, I prefer using a feather radius of 1. Let me do an example of 1, and then I press OK. So to remove the background, let me turn off this layer. To remove the background, you press backspace or you can press delete. But unfortunately, it is the middle part which has got off instead of the background. So let me undo. What you do, you you go to object, Okay. For the sake of, you press Shift Control I to inverse, because right now here on my screen I can't see the object panel. Okay. Yeah. So you go to select, then you inverse. Inverse here, Shift Control I. Yeah. So now you can see the other matching assets were here on the lady and the baby. They have now gone on the other outside part, the one which you want to cut off. Yeah, so here you can either press delete or you can press backspace. It's up to you. So you can see like here, it is not so sharp. Okay. For example, let me do this again. If I make a selection and I leave it at 0 and press enter, and I shift Ctrl I and delete, you can see that here it is very, very sharp. Very, very sharp. You can see here. It's very, very sharp. Like it does not look professional. So what you do, let me undo again. And I make a selection, and let's say let me put it like on 5 pixels of the feather radius. Then I select the inverse, Shift Control I and delete. Now you can see that the sharpness is now increased. It is it is not so sharp. Let me put a background. Let me put a background, a sample background. I'm putting just a sample background just to show you. That's the good thing of Pixabay. You can always download free images and very high resolution images which you can also use like on a billboard, images which you can use on very big places, let's say where they require you to have big images. Yeah, so the image is downloading. Yeah, it's done, it's complete now. Let me drag and drop it here, my Photoshop. Yeah, then I could increase size. So now you can see that the image is, the background is different, and you can see the image is different. Is there any question?
Once you don't just drag it on the open the file.
Yes, on this same background, which is editing, you just drag and drop it there, or you can alternatively click on file, then you go on place, file, place. You can place.
Okay.
Downloads, file, place. Yeah, same thing. It's the same. You can either file place, or you can as well copy and paste. So depending on what you want. Yeah, still I see the images here, you can see. And it's not limited to only images. You can as well put colors. For example, you tap on this half moon here, then you press a solid color. So you can decide to choose a color which you want, a color of any choice. A color of
Okay.
any choice.
Now, Isaac.
Yes.
Of course, thank you. I've seen how to crop out the image.
Yes.
Now, if you look at the solid color you put,
Yes.
it still shows that the image has been, like it shows that you cropped out the background on the image. So how do you make it look professional there? Like make it more nice, especially on a solid color.
On a solid color, the best way, one of the ways is to either, like you can see on the sides here, it is dark. So the best way is either darken the solid color. That is one way. It's more like a life hack. You can either darken the background, or alternatively, you go back on this mask which we created here, on this copy which you made here. Then you look for the eraser tool. See here, eraser tool. You come up here, the drop down. You reduce the hardness and also the size a bit. Reduce it more like this, around there. Yeah. So on this mask, not on the image, but on the mask, you start erasing off part of the background which you don't want there. I was just trying to cut around just to show examples of how to remove off the background. So that's why you see that there are some dark corners there, those black things which are still there. We're just doing that as an example, as a way for the rest to come in and we start the meeting. I wish I had a tab, it would really be working for me very, very well. So here I'm just using the eraser tool. Other designers also have other ways of doing them, but this is the easiest way that you can do it faster. To me, I find it is easier and faster. Trying to make the images like this. These black things which are there. Yeah, so the question you ask, is it answered now?
Yeah, they're clear now.
Yeah, because right now I'm beg your pardon?
I see the clipping mask is doing it.
The what?
I'm saying that clipping mask is that we are doing it better, so it won't apply to focus and bring up the image.
Your network is breaking, man.
I'm going to use a message. I'm going to chat.
Okay, send us a message and then I could read through.
Can Paint do that?
Paint.
Can Paint change the background?
Paint. I've not really used Paint so much, but it is very basic. It limits you so much. Let me try it here and I show you. Paint, it will limit you so much. Like you will not do so much with Paint because it doesn't have like most of the tools that we as Photoshoppers and graphic designers use. Yeah, but Paint, we only use it, let's say if someone sends you an image on WhatsApp and it cannot open in Photoshop, we normally use Paint for helping us to remove those commands which disturb us in opening images in Illustrator or Photoshop or InDesign. But for Paint, it's so basic. I've never tried to remove a background. Like it really disturbs a lot. You can see there's no Paint tool here.
There is Paint.net. This has some advanced features.
Yeah, this Paint, it has very few features compared to Photoshop. Very few features. Because it is mainly for office work, like removing something very small. You can see brushes, pen. So it has so many limitations, and very few designers use Paint to accomplish their tasks. So, any other questions?
Sorry,
can start on the images or reducing image size. Is someone asking here about the clip mask if it really matters? Yes, clip masks matter. They are very important. For example, if I have an image, let's say if I wanted to bring back some elements of this very image, like on this image, let's say for example, if I accidentally erased something and I want to bring it back without having to first undo, this clip mask will help you. It's more like just a mask. So you can bring it back by using the eraser tool. It's here. Then you change the background colors here. You switch colors. You make the white go behind and the black go in front. Yeah. So that one of the ways is just press X, or you can tap here. You see the black is in front and the white is behind. Then use the eraser tool, and then you on this layer mask here, you start erasing. You bring back parts of the images which you had deleted. You can see those which you had deleted off, they will come back. That's the advantage of clipping mask. But if there was no clipping mask, you cannot bring back some of those deleted items that you deleted accidentally. That's the challenge. Have I answered your question?
Sure. Very clear.
Have I answered your question, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are clear.
Okay. Okay, so now let's jump into reducing image sizes without reducing the quality, the quality, but of course reducing the quantity of the image. So let me go to Pixabay and find an image. Find an image here. For example, just use this image. I'm going to use the size of this image. So let me click on free download, and this time I'm going to download this very big sized photo, this one here of 5,472 pixels by 3,648 pixels. It's a JPEG of 3.9 MB. So I'm downloading it. So guys, you can as well always download your images. If you want high resolution images, you can always download them from this site. It's called pixabay.com. Yeah, so the picture is downloaded here. Yeah, so that's the image. So now you can see the picture is 3.68 MB. So let me open it with Photoshop. So the image size of this very image, you can see the width is 5472 by 3648, and the resolution is 72. Reason being, when you see that the resolution is 72, that means that it is a very big image, and the resolution may be low. But when the image is low, the resolution has to go high. That is where most designers tend to fail to master it. So if the image is at this size, if I get this same image the way it is, I copy it and I place it in Illustrator, for example. Let me place it here. Opening a new A4 document, and I paste it there. You can see it is very big. It is bigger than the A4. You can see it is very, very big. See, it is very big. And if I can say I try to fit it on an artboard, it will become 22 centimeters. Now, if I change it to centimeters, yeah, you can see the image is 193 centimeters by 128.6 centimeters. That is the image that we just downloaded. I've not reduced it. I've not done anything to it. It is this big. And if I save it, I'm going to show you how big it is. Let me save it on my desktop as an Illustrator file. Let's see. Just going to save it the way it is.
Yeah, one.
So the image, the Illustrator file is here. You can see that it is now, the Illustrator file is 33.6 MB. It is really huge now. From the other few MBs that we had, from 3.68 to 36. It is now 33.6 MB. You can see now that the image size in Illustrator has increased a lot. Yeah, so if you want your file to be light, let's say you're working with Illustrator and you want your Illustrator to always have light images, light PDFs, even without having to fast compress. You know how guys always want to go to file. Let's say when they want to send to their clients, they want to compress, and then they want to send their clients by email. So you find guys are just going here in Illustrator, then they want to do smallest file size. Okay, fine, that one may work, but the image will come out when it is very hazy, it is very pixelated. Yeah, so it is better you just come to Photoshop. This is the image. Come to image size. Then what you do here, you first increase the resolution, for example, to 300. You can see here the size has increased a lot. It was 57.1 MB, it's now 991.5 MB. Then here, you reduce the width, for example, but you have to make sure these two are checked so that your image does not lose its proportionality. Yeah? So you come here on the width, and then you can change it to, for example, 850 pixels. Automatically here, it will also do the math for you. And you can see the image is still clear. Here it's at 100%, the image is still clear. Let me press OK. You can see now the image has become small. Now let me go to View. Then I go to View, Fit to Screen. You can see the image is still clear. Okay. If I put it to 100%, that is Ctrl+1. Here, just make 100%. That is how the image will come out, and it will be nice. So let me save a copy of this same image. We'll just put that here. Save. So usually here you can play around with this file size. You can see already here it is 148 kilobytes. So you can leave it there if you want, or you can try to reduce it slowly. It's more like that when you press OK. Then the downloads here, you can see that the image here, it is now 110 kilobytes. We have reduced the image size in its length and width, but the resolution stays the same. So you can see 850 pixels by 567 pixels, 100 dpi. So if I copy this image and I paste it in Illustrator, this, I paste it in Illustrator, you can see it is very small now, very, very tiny. Yeah. So I go in artboard settings and I fit the selected part. And I'm going to save on top of the other one. It's now saving. It has already saved. You can see it has taken a very short time to save. And let me check the image size. You can now see that it is now 2.13 MB, and that is really fine for your artwork, your designs that you want to do. But you can as well compress them further, but don't over compress them. It is not advisable to over compress them. Yeah, at least the minimum here you can do 600 pixels. That is the minimum that you can do, and at a resolution of about 100. Sorry, let me change it. First, change the resolution. The challenge with this is that when you change the size before you change the resolution, the quality will diminish. So it is advisable you always start with the resolution, first increase it, then you reduce on the size, so that you maintain the resolution and you reduce on the size. So here I continue. It's okay. 100%, it is still clear. But of course, the more you zoom in like this, you can see it is trying to lose quality. That's why I'm saying it's not advisable to over-compress the images. So let me undo the previous size. And which we have been on is 850 by 567. You can see when I zoom in, here already we're on 78%. See? And that's when the image starts becoming pixelated. But at 100%, the image is really fine. Very, very fine. Yeah, so that is how you reduce on image sizes, but maintaining the quality of the images. So does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, I do have a question.
Yes, ask.
Yeah, I would like you, okay. According to when you are reducing that image, you couldn't control the height. But usually when I'm doing web design,
Yes.
I usually get scenarios where I have a logo and actually I must control the width and the height.
Yes.
What's the best way to go on controlling the width and the height of the image, but making sure that there is, let's say someone has given you a logo which is a bit bigger and you want to shrink it to smaller size. So you have to shrink it to a specific height, a specific width, but without losing what? Resolution, quality within the image. How do you best go about that point?
Okay, for example, let me just find a sample logo here. For example, let's say they have given you this logo here. Yeah, so for example, they gave you this logo and they want you to reduce its size while maintaining the resolution, right?
Yes. Let's reduce it to about, let's say, 147 to 52.
Okay. You said 147 to 52.
Yeah, to 52.
Okay. Now, the best way that you can do this is you create a new document. Okay. And then the document itself, change it to pixels, it's 147 by 52. Okay. But then you have to make sure the resolution is high so that that logo stays clear. And on the color mode, when you're doing designs that are going to be displayed on computers, projectors, big screens, anything digital, always leave the color mode in RGB color. But when you're going to do designs for print, you should always change them to CMYK color. And then maybe when you're going to do like labels, you can do lab colors. And then when you're going to do work for like engraving, you do grayscale and bitmap. But for now, let's say we are doing web, just keep the rest constant when you create the canvas. This is called the canvas. Yeah, so this is 147 by 52. So what you do, you drag your logo and you place it there. But right now the logo is big, so you Control T, you press Control T, or you select the item, then you tap on this button here, Show Transform Controls, to show you these corner widgets here. Then while pressing Alt, you reduce the size proportionally. Reduce the size proportionally. Then you hit Enter, or you can tap on this tick here. Now, right now, the logo looks pixelated. Reason being, it is tiny, very, very tiny. And secondly, the zoom capacity here is around 200%. And I assume this logo is a web icon. Let's say it's going to be viewed on a mobile, on a phone. So if I put it to 100%, the logo is clear. The quality is clear, it's good. Have I answered you?
Actually, that's okay. It's okay how it looks. It's okay, but I'm taking a scenario. If you are okay, basing on the way you are reducing the image, yes. I wanted to see how best you can reduce that image, like the way you are reducing it, without you maybe placing it on a layer or something like that. Because usually when you receive this logo from a client, it's already designed in such a way that, let me give an example. Usually when you receive many logos that maybe graphics designers design for clients without a mind of whether it will be on the web or what, usually it comes that you have to first maybe crop it to fit it in a certain size that you only have the edge of the logo, and then maybe make it transparent where it's not transparent. After doing all that, let me give an example. This is too big and it's beyond the size that is supposed to fit within your web page. And then you try to shrink that image. Small, but using the image size. Let's say you give it the height, maybe about 150, and then maybe 57. But make it right, so still resolution. When you're fixing it height within the image size.
I'm not hearing you well. You have some echoes in your background.
Now, I believe the echo is from your side or from one of the
Yeah, maybe.
Two people are listening then.
Yes.
In the same place.
So you were saying?
I was saying, okay, actually, let me type it in the chat.
Yeah, actually, type it on the chat, then I can guide you best. Meanwhile, others, you can as well be shooting your questions. Ronald, your question here. Okay, I think you're trying to say that in a scenario where they've given you logo, which is already in its size, they want you to reduce it to another size. It is best that you do not try to distort the logo's size. Let's say if it is a square, let's say for example, if it is these dimensions like this, it is better you don't distort them in any way, because companies always have brand guidelines and you're not supposed to stretch logos and you're supposed to use them the way they are. So if they give you that 152 by 57, 157. If they give you such an area, working area, that you're supposed to place your logo in that area, it is advisable just place the logo there. And if it means removing the background, remove the background where possible. For example, I'm going to use this white. If it means removing the background, maybe your logo has your background has other colors. Yeah, you can remove the background. So let's say, for example, your website or your app has another background. You can feel free to change the background, but try to endeavor not to change the size. Try not to do this. This is unprofessional, and as designers, it will not really spoil your name to the client side, or when the client is trying to show to someone, they tend to recommend that you are nice because you distort their logo. It is much wiser. If just reduce the logo like this. Don't distort the logo like that. It is not professional. Then again, Ronald, I'm seeing your question here. How best you can fix it? I'm requesting for your enlightenment. How do you want Are you there?
My network was on and off. Maybe you can ask.
I'm saying, kindly elaborate on this question, like how best you can fix it, the width and the height, just as a previous image. Like you want to know how to fix the width or how to resize. Kindly elaborate on that.
You see, I was trying to inquire like how you fixed the previous image. If you could maybe put, okay, if maybe you could go on the logo, you could first go on the logo.
The logo itself here.
Yeah, at that point when it's there. Then let's say I want to change its size, but without, okay, I want to just change its size, like previous, how we changed the image previously. Yeah.
Yes.
Image size. We go to that point.
Yes.
And then at that point, you try giving it a height 57.
Height 57.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then I want it to have a width of 152.
Yes.
You see, what I was trying to say, you can see that by default it assigns the height,
Yes.
but I want the height not to fix the height of it. If maybe
Okay.
you unlock it and then you fix the height.
That is true. But you see there is
You
this
unlock
button
it and
here.
fix the height.
You see there's this button here which says do not constrain aspect ratio here. So if you unclick it, you see the other lines are off. So if I put 50, you said 57 here. Do you see how the logo will come out? It will come out when it is distorted, which is unprofessional.
Yeah. And actually, that's what I was trying to say. How
Yes.
best can you achieve that without that happening? Yeah.
Like, okay, like you want the logo to be in this size in landscape like
Yeah,
this,
right.
correct?
But with a good quality. Yeah.
Okay, so I think that, like I had explained earlier, you create a new document. Okay, create a new document of those very sizes, and then you place create a new document and you place, you either drag and drop, or you can get it from this side and you place it there in the center. Okay, you place it in the center and then you reduce, you press Alt, because this is the Photoshop CC. So in normal cases, if you want to reduce your logo in a proportional way, you just press Alt in the corners and you reduce to when you have a desired size, then check. It is like this because Photoshop is a pixel-based software. It is not a vector-based software. That is why you see it has in these so many pixels in the corners. And secondly, why it looks like this is because of the zoom percentage, where we see we are at 600, and the most recommended one with your size is 100%. So that is how the logo will look like without reducing its look, its quality. That's how it's supposed to be. There are some things that are standard. Have I answered your question, Ronald?
Yes, you have. Thank you.
Okay. So other guys can ask their questions if they have. Yeah, and guys, when you're trying to reduce images, because I've seen this question here, someone it is, you can press shift out, fine, you can, but in Photoshop CC, shift out does not work. This is what shift out does. You see, you can't resize the logo proportionally. In Photoshop CC, they changed the shortcuts where you press Alt alone, or you can just drag without pressing any key. You just drag any corner. You see, just drag any corner. Those are the new rules in CC. those who are still using CS6, CS5, CS3, you can still use shift out. But right now the rule changed. You just drag in the corner here, the corners here, even in these other anchor points. Yeah, so guys, take note of that. Shift out works in Illustrator, but it does not work in Photoshop. It's another rule. Okay, Henry is saying that let's try another photo which has people. Okay, fine. So let me find another photo here. Let me find an image here. I'm going to use this picture. To download it. I'm going to download it in high resolution. It is 5.4 MB. Let me download it again. It's downloading now. Yeah, so you can see the image is damn clear. It's very, very clear. You can see every detail. See? But this is a billboard size image. This is an image which you can use on a billboard in large formats. Let's say if you want to do like a pull-up banner, these are the images that you can use. Let's say you want to do an artwork for a billboard or something that is meant for a large scale, yeah, something that is more than 1 meter. At least it's more advisable to use such images. Yeah, someone has said let's use an image which has people. I've chosen that one. So you go to image, then you go to image size. As you can see, it is also big, 5,184 by 3,456. And the resolution is 300. This is really fine. Right now the image is 51.3 images in Photoshop. Let's say when you're going to do your work in a billboard size image, or when you do your work on a small scale and the image is still this size, it will be in this size, 51.3 MB. So right now the resolution is at 300. Is fine. You can just reduce it. Let's say if you want to do designs that are going to be, let's say, printed on like a success card of A4 size, yeah, let's say like A4 size, you can put it like on 1080. The height automatically will come because you have tapped on this button here, which says you constrain the aspect ratio proportionally. Yeah, so that's why everything just comes out to 1080 by 720, and this is the size of HD. For guys who don't know the size of HD, this is the size of HD. Yeah, so you can see up here in the image size, it was 51.3 MB, and now it is 2.22 MB, which is quite okay when you're going to do your designs. The resolution can stay at 300, and as you can see, at 100% here, the image is still clear, very, very clear. Let me try to reduce it to 500 pixels. Still, the 500 pixel image is okay. But when you're working with such small images, you have to be knowing that where you're going to put those images is also small. For example, if you're doing social media designs, let's say you want to design something for Instagram, you want to design something for Facebook, at least minimally you can put it at 800 pixels, so at least it remains clear. Yeah, 800 pixels is at least the minimum that you can use. But if you're doing something that is very, very small, let's say if you want to do like a badge, something that, or let's say if you want to do something, let's say like a logo which has a picture, or if you want to do sublimation and you want to sublimate your picture on a t-shirt, on the pocket of a t-shirt, yeah, you can put it on around 550 pixels. But this is very, very small because the height is 367 pixels. If you change this to centimeters, you can see that the image is very, very small, 4.66 by 3.1. It is very, very tiny. Yeah, so the best that you can do is minimally 800 pixels. Change it to centimeters, see 6 centimeters by 4.52 centimeters. At least that is fine. Alternatively, for HD, guys who like HD pictures, you want to stay with the quality of your image. At the same time, when the image it has a small weight, yeah, 1.9 MB is fine. You can leave it at 1020, 1080, 720 around there. This is fine. Then you press OK. The rest you leave them OK. Leave them the way they are. Then you press OK, and you can see it has reduced it. Previously, at this size, when we fit the design to the screen, we are on 18.23%. But when you reduce the size to 1080, like 720, see we are still on the same size, but if we want to see the picture clearly, put it at 100%. That would be okay. You can use this image, because even if you zoom in, at least by the time it starts to become pixelated, you see you're on 400%. Someone would not really want to zoom into that percentage. Yeah, but the actual size of the image is 100%. Let's say if you're to print it out, in the actual size, this is how it will look like. But if you want to print the billboard sized image in its actual size, see at 100%, this is how it will look like. Okay, that is why you find in billboard sized images are very clear, because they leave them at 100% and they have to play around with image resolution here and the image sizes. Now, for example, sometimes you're given an image and the image itself is pixelated already. So there are some few hacks that you can try out, but of course which are not 100% efficient. Let me find another image here. So, for example, let me try this picture. I'm going to download it as a very small image, 640 by 3. That's 60 kilobytes. Let me download it the way it is. Yeah, it's done. Okay. So if I, you can see the image is this small, okay, but the resolution is 300, meaning the image is okay, it is clear at its size, okay. But if I want to increase the size, let's say like to 3000 pixels, okay, you can see that it has lost quality. You see, you press OK. You can see that there are some blue, red colors which are now coming in. That means the image is losing quality. See, and you can see I'm also at 100% zooming. So it's not really nice to that is one way of increasing the size when it was small. Let's say you just come to image size here, then you increase on the width, or you can increase on the height depending on the size that you are given. Then the resolution, you increase it. But if the resolution is at 72 and the size is 3000, see, because the size is 3000, still the image is okay at a low resolution. It is big enough. And do size. Let me put it at 72. And see, if you reduce the resolution alone without increasing on the size or typing or touching on the sizes, and you press OK, you can see at 100%. That's how the image stays. And when you zoom in, you can see it is losing all the quality. It's losing all the quality. Now, one of the ways of trying to play around with images that are kind of pixelated, and you want them to try, like you want to try to get the pixelation, you're trying to trick the pixels that there is something there, that the pixels are there, getting enough since they're not there. You're trying to create the other clarity that you want. There are two ways that I know personally. One, is you select Control, you press Control J, or you can just come here, you tap there, and then you get another layer. Now on this layer, come to Filter, then you go to Sharpen, then you go to Smart Sharpen. Okay. So in this Smart Sharpen, you just try to play around with all these controls here. So maybe you can try to increase on the amount slowly by slowly, but don't over increase them depending on the image. Then you press OK. So you can see the original and the duplicate. You can see that the duplicate has some clarity there. Are you guys seeing it? Hello, are you guys there?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess you can see the difference. You see the original here, the background.
Yeah, we are there.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can see this is the original background, which was not clear, and this is the layer which I've just added some sharpness to. As you can see, it is more clear. Yeah, so it's not advisable to put so much sharpness to an image. You just put a little of it and not so much. Yeah, so the second method that I know is Control J. Then on this layer, now on this layer called dupe, I'm going to come and go to the blending modes. They're located here. Then I come, I tap here on overlay. Okay, and I press enter. So this image is on overlay. You see? So on this same layer, I'm going to go to filter. Then you go to render. I'm sorry. Yeah, go to render. sorry, go to you go to other, then you go to high pass. See, it has now started changing the color. So high pass, and you can try to increase it a bit around there, then press OK. So what you do, you reduce the opacity. You reduce the opacity here a bit, so that it doesn't have the other strong effect of the high pass. So we try to reduce a bit, and so you can see you've made it look kind of HD. It's much more clear. See? So you can see on this G player, what I did, I changed the blending mode here. I went to overlay, and then on the same layer, I went to filter, and I went to other, and I went to high pass. Yeah, so with high pass, I came here, I tried to play around with the radius. I tried to get a clear view of it. As you can see here, then you press OK, and then you reduce on the opacity. Yeah. Alternatively, if you have the num pad with you, then the number pad here on your keyboard, each number represents a percentage. For example, now you can see here 45. So if I want 60%, you can just press number 6. If you want 70%, you can press number 7. Or if you want 35%, you press 35. And at the same time, you say 35. You bring the opacity. 45%. Yeah, so those are the two ways that you can try to play around with the clarity of the images also.